Well, y'all, welcome back to another episode of Rotobob. I'm your host, Zach Moore. We're here to break down the Geico 500 at Talladega. Now, what an up and down race, but let's break it all down. Stage one was really simple. A lot of three-line racing, which was really, really exciting to watch, but they were all back to the whole fuel saving that we saw at the Daytona 500. The whole goal was to save as much fuel, and then when you made your green flag pit stop, you didn't have to spend as much time on pit road. You come back on, hopefully make some spots up on pit road. And that's kind of how we saw. The only big moment we saw in stage one was Denny Hamlin getting loose, hit some water entering pit road, slid, made contact with Erik Jones, but it was okay, came unscathed. But we did see a great battle at the end of stage one where Austin Cindric edged out Chase Elliott by a bumper to take home the W. That was a great, great finish. That was kind of how stage one was. Stage two was kind of more the same. A lot of three-way racing, but a lot of fuel saving. The biggest move, I would say, was another spin with Corey LaJoie leaving pit road this time, hit some water, hit a puddle, spun out. But then we saw another great finish with Joey Logano getting a push from his teammate Austin Cindric to take home the W and the win. At both those two stages, it was exciting to watch. So I do feel like the green flag stops were exciting to watch. So that was the one thing that was fun. But I believe it was the first time we didn't have a caution in the first two stages at Talladega race in the stage era, I believe. That's what I was hearing. And then stage three, that's kind of where it all changed. The intensity picked up like it always would. We restarted, and we 17-ish laps into stage three. We saw a wreck. The outside line got stacked up. Chase Elliott didn't check up, ran in the back of just Haley. He came down, hit Christopher Bell, hard the outside wall. That took out Christopher Bell. Chase Elliott came unscathed. Messed up Justin Haley's day. So it really stinks for him. But yeah, that was just how lane got stacked up. Everyone checks up. It was like a kind of a accordion effect, and that's kind of what happens sometimes. And it was a big hit for Christopher Bell. He was okay. Took him out of the race. And around all that time, we had some fuel strategy, lots of saving of fuel. It was really interesting here. It was a mix of cars. It wasn't like the Fords would pick together and then Toyotas would pick together, or the Chevys would pick together. It was really interesting. A nice little mix of different people when they pitted. But then we restarted. And we got back really normal car racing, still fuel saving. But then we saw the Toyotas. I believe it was all Toyotas besides Erik Jones pit. So 2311, Legacy Motor Club, Joe Gibbs. And all seven of them that were still in the race, they all pitted. They all executed on pit road. And they all came out. And they got pitted early, I believe. So that was interesting. When's this big pack of cars? When's some of them going to pit? Because the Toyotas are coming. They're in the right position now. The pressure's on them. Well, it was really odd. A couple laps later after those Toyotas pit going to turn three. Double Wallace gave Erik Jones a terrible push, a bad push. Erik Jones trying to save, and then overcorrected. It went hard in the outside wall. Massive hit. Double Wallace was in it too. Danny Hamlin got collected into it. Oh my gosh, just terrible execution. I don't know what happened. There was a bump in the track a couple years ago. Talladega put a tunnel where turn three was, and they filled it in, and they had to repave it. So it's a new asphalt, but there's a little bump there. It shows the cars going over the bump and getting kind of loose, and that's kind of what caused Erik Jones to get loose and then got collected in a massive hit. Took out Denny Hamlin, some massive contenders. It was a really, really bad look for Toyota because I thought, oh my gosh, they're in a great position. But I don't know what was going on there because they were like bumper to bumper and they were pushing hard in the turns, and that's what you're told not to do that, especially in that part of the race. But that was just a terrible execution. I thought, man, Toyota's in a great spot, and now they're not. It was just bad. I believe Martin Truex survived. Ty Reddick was leading the pack, survived, and Ty Gibbs. After that wreck, so the big pack that was almost, I thought, in a bad situation, they all pitted. Some of the Toyotas were able to stay out, but I believe Michael McDowell was able to cycle through the way the whole strategy worked out. Michael McDowell was able to take the lead, and then it was like the last 3 laps of this race was exciting to watch. Michael McDowell trying to block both lanes. We could never get a third lane going at all in the beginning of that run. It was really really tame, but Michael McDowell just did a great job. I mean, he had Brad Keselowski pushing the bottom lane. I believe the first 3 cars were 3 Fords. I believe it was Michael McDowell, Brad Keselowski, and Noah Gragson. And I know at least the top lane, I believe, was Ty Reddick, Martin Truex Jr., and Ty Gibbs. It was exciting to watch those 2 lanes battle, but I think, Brad Keselowski, who's been known to be a good pusher, also can be a little over-aggressive. Carlos Rex in the past was doing a great job. Those Fords were working together. It was a big race for Ford. They needed a win. They haven't won all year. And that's kind of how it was for those last 3-ish laps. I would say it was around 10 laps ago. That's where it got really interesting. That third lane that cannot get going unless they're fuel saving was trying to get something going. I think it was led by Chase Elliott. Guys that were way in the back had nothing to lose. were trying to make something happen. And they started getting a little bit of momentum in that third lane. And then we saw SVG pop out lane from that second lane. And then I don't know what it was, but Chase Elliott was giving SVG some massive pushes down the backstretch. And they were getting some huge runs. It was really interesting to see for like 3 laps. I would say around 5 laps ago. And then we saw Kyle Busch come out there and then trying to get a run. And also we saw Ty Gibbs too. He jumped out lane. And right when Ty Gibbs jumped out lane in that third lane, and almost like that third lane stalled out. They ended up losing it. Really stink for them. There was probably a lot of frustration with that. But now we're coming down to 3 laps to go. I'm coming down, still doing a good job of leading. And then it comes down to 2. And then it comes down to 1. And now as we break down this final lap, white flag is out. So Marco Downs on the inside, Tyler Reddick on the outside, racing really hard and aggressive. Now the pushing is going to get aggressive. But Dowd kind of has a lead there, entering into the backstretch. They're still in turn 2. Big pushes all around. Pretty tame here, 2x2. No one's trying to make a third lane happen. Really spread out here. We see Brad give McDowell a push. We saw Truex give Reddick a push. But now Brad's really on the bumper of the 34. Going to get him out front. Clear the 45. Now, entering turn 3 and 4. Reddick really has no momentum. Now Brad has a push from Noah Gragson. Goes and looks like he has a run now. Now what is he going to do with that run? Now he goes top. McDowell blocks. Now Brad goes bottom. McDowell blocks. Then gets loose. Comes up the track. Brad loses momentum, and due to that, Tyler Reddick comes to the outside. A huge wild wreck in the back, and Tyler Reddick takes home the W. A huge win in the Jordan brand car. Oh my gosh. Michael Jordan in the stands. Oh my gosh, it was a wild, chaotic wreck. If I was going to put blame on that wreck, I was going to put it on Michael McDowell. It was a terrible block, a bad block. I think, in a way, Brad would have won this race if McDowell didn't make that second block. Because I think, I watched the replays, it looked like he was technically clear. He didn't come down on Brad's bumper. And just the way, I think so much momentum from McDowell just got loose. And the C's parted ways. Brad checked up. Outside lane had momentum, come in the triangle and do the checkup from Brad. Reddick was able to have all the momentum and take and pass Brad. A massive wreck, huge wreck. Corey LaJoy got into the wall, like kind of wall riding the thing, and it ends up flipping over. Massive wreck, just big hits all around. That's usually what happens when we come to the finish line. Everyone's pushing, no one gives a crap. So we go to our top 20 finishers. Tyler Reddick gets home the W. Great win, huge win. I love the interview that Fox did with Michael Jordan. Really cool, really emotional. It's a great win for them. It's huge. It's awesome. The Jordan brand car, it's really sick too. Brad Keselowski, second place. 2 back-to-back second place finishes for Brad. I felt like if Michael McDowell didn't make that terrible block, Brad Keselowski's going to win this freaking race and snap the 100 race winning streak, but it just didn't happen the way it needed to happen. The C's parted ways for Tyler Reddick, gets home the W. Number 3, Noah Gragson, great run for them. 4th, Ricky Stenhouse. 5th, Alex Bowman got top. 5, Anthony Alfredo in a Beard Motorsports car. 6, Willie Byron 7, Todd Gillen 8th, Daniel Hemrick 9th, Harrison Burton 10. Two top 10s for those guys right there. It's really big for those smaller teams. Not going to run as well in those mile and a half, so great run for them. 11th, Martin Truex. 12th, Chase Briscoe. 13th, Ross Chastain. 14th, Ryan Preece. 15th, Chase Elliott. Top 15 for Chase Elliott. 16th, Josh Berry. 17th, Carson Hocevar. 18th, Corey LaJoy. 19th, Joey Logano. And 20th, Ryan Blaney. Kyle Larson also 21st. Kyle Larson, I forgot to mention, he freaking, I don't know what their team was doing, but he couldn't qualify because they messed with the roof rails and he had to start last and then do a drive-through penalty after lap 1. So he was really ruined his entire day. I'm not sure what they were doing. Kyle Busch finished 27th on this board and SVG 28th. Kyle Busch was pissed off at this race, really mad because he had an opportunity there to get that third lane going, but it stalled out. Really unfortunate for him. I'm going to bring up Aaron Jones. After that wreck, it was a hard wreck for him. He was clear from the infield care center, but then recently I just saw that he came back to the medical center and then he got transported in a hospital to a local hospital. 3-2. And then we're going to bring out Aaron Jones, finishing 35th. In that big wreck, he was cleared from the infield care center, but then after the race, and then we're going to bring out Aaron Jones, finished 35th in that massive hard wreck. He was cleared from the infield care center, but then he went back to the infield care center after the race and then got transported in an ambulance to the local hospital. So hopefully everything is okay with Aaron Jones. Maybe NASCAR just wants to give a second checkup on him, make sure he's okay, because that was a massive, massive hit. We look at the rolling rate. This race, the first half, was a little meh for me. Yes, it was a three-way racing. Yes, but it was only reason that we can get three-way racing was because of the fuel saving. Everyone's fuel saving. And the thing about it is when they're fuel saving, you know they're not trying to race. They're just sitting there and they're trying to put themselves in position to make it to their next stop. It was exciting to watch. I guess it was kind of entertaining to watch 3x3. So that was fine. Stage 1, stage 2 were kind of the same, right? It was exciting to watch. The green flag pit stops were exciting to watch when cars were merging on the track, coming off the track. That was exciting to watch. And both at the end of stage 1 and stage 2, the finishes were exciting to watch with those guys. Well, we got to talk about Fox. Fox is freaking embarrassing. I hate it. I can't believe that we got to deal with Fox again for the next 7 freaking years because they signed back on. It was the first 26 laps. We saw 3 commercials in that time. 26 laps, 3 commercials. There was a time from the first lap to lap 9 they had commercial free. Then they went on commercial for a couple laps, came back. They showed like 4 laps of racing, and they went back to commercial. I mean, there was a couple of times here, I think like in stage 2, at the end of stage 2, it's like 7 laps to go at stage 2. And they throw a commercial, and then they come back with like 3 laps to go to finish out stage 2. That's just terrible, man. It's ridiculous. I don't even think that was and that wasn't even a side-by-side commercial. You couldn't even watch the race. It was a full screen commercial. It's just bad, dude. Fast forward to the end of this race with 2 laps to go, coming to the white flag. Freaking Mike Joyous talking about the grandstands and how they moved the finish line because they could sell more grandstand tickets in this section and all blah, blah, blah. They're talking about the grandstands and not talking about how this race is about to end. And there's 1 lap to go and it's going to be exciting. It's going to be big. I mean, oh my gosh. It's freaking ridiculous, man. It's embarrassing. Now, I wouldn't say the one thing they did good is they interviewed freaking Michael Jordan in the victory lanes. That's great. That'll give them some viewership, some recognition. Post-race, I think they only interviewed Brad Keselowski and Tyrek, the winner. They might have interviewed Michael McDowell, I don't remember. But maybe like 2 or 3 interviews there. They did not even interview freaking Noah Gragson, who finished 3rd. That's a big deal. I mean, like, what the frick, man? I'd rather have more post-race and less pre-race. You just give me, 30 minutes of pre-race, I'm good. Or, freaking 10 minutes of pre-race. I don't need to just get us to the race. And then we can have a big, long post-race. Because that's what it seems like NBC's been trying to do. No pre-race, big post-race, which I think is really, really important. But yeah, that's my little Fox rant. They're just bad. I mean, I can't stand them. But here we go, the rating. I'm going to give it a 7.2. First half was, yes, people say 3-way racing, but the reason they're 3-way is because they're saving. They're not actually racing. They're just saving fuel, right? I don't need wrecks. I don't like that. I don't want wrecks because then less cars turns into worse racing. You'll probably would turn into train racing. Them just running against the wall. So I don't want wrecks. I just want the more cars for me, the better racing in my opinion at the super speedways. Even though this car looks like it sucks, you can't get a 3rd lane going, so it doesn't really matter, I guess. But then at the end of the race, stage 3 was really chaotic, really wild, drama-filled, exciting, wild finish, crazy finish there. But overall, 7.2, solid race. Could have been a pretty lame race if it wasn't for the wild stage 3, but that's where I have it. Besides that, congrats to Toyota. I mean, wild. They went from 0 to hero. Great ending, I'll say. Looking forward to seeing how Dover shapes out the monster mile, the concrete canyon. Like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you in another one. Goodbye, y'all.